Hey, Mr. Hashimoto here. I'm going to go through this week's assignments on relative age dating with you in a series of videos. So, beginning with the format for this, I'm going to do this presentation, and I'm going to give you a chance to pause and write your answers onto the Google Doc. So, when you see a slide that says pause, there's a place for you to write your answers. So first of all, relative age is a comparison, and absolute age is a number. So saying I am older than you is a relative age, and saying that you are 15 years old is a number, so that's an absolute age. We'll be studying absolute ages next week, and so this week it's all about relative ages. There's something for you to answer on the document, so pause the video and go ahead and answer that. Okay, as we get into relative ages, the first principle that we'll use, and we'll be using about 4 principles, is called the principle of superposition. And when you have rocks that are laid down horizontally, the youngest is on the top and the oldest is on the bottom. This kind of makes sense. If you were to look in your laundry basket and look and say, what clothes did I wear the longest time ago? Then that would be the clothes at the bottom. And if you ask what clothes did I wear most recently, that would be the clothes at the top. So that's the principle of superposition. So here is the first puzzle that we have here, and you see rock layers Z and B, and put the events in order. It's just going to be the letters that form that outcrop. Go ahead and pause the video and write them on the document. Second principle is the principle of original horizontality. I think of this like you. You began today horizontal. You were originally horizontal because you were in bed. Once you got up, then you were no longer horizontal, and it maybe wasn't that easy to wake up and get up. So whenever you see rocks, like in this picture, that are tilted, something had to make them tilt. So that's an event. So you would write tilt as an additional event. So here's your second puzzle. You have the 2 rock formations, but there should be 3 events. Pause. So the answer we're looking for is B, then Z, or B, comma Z, and tilt. So B, Z, tilt. Third principle is the principle of cross-cutting relationships. And so I think of cross-cutting is something has to exist in order to get cut. So this red layer was already existing, and then it was cut by this black layer, which was magma that came from below. Faults are where rock is displaced in an earthquake, and they are younger than the rocks that they displace. So in this case, the black feature cut the red feature, so the red feature had to be there first. Here's a fault. These layers, these tan and red layers had to be there, and this fault moved this side up compared to the other side, and the layers had to be there to get moved. So the layer has to be there to be cut. So here's number 3, put the events in order, and B is magma that came up from below. Go ahead and pause and put the answer on your document. So the correct answer is M, G, B, and we know B is youngest because it cuts both M and G. Go ahead and do this one, number 4, and that black line is a fault. Pause and answer on your document. And so the answer here is M, G, fault. So the fault is younger because it cuts both those layers. Let's get a little trickier. Pause and answer on the document. So the answer here is NCX, where C cuts N but not X. So C is NCX. Or go ahead and do this one. Pause and answer on your document. So the answer here is HV fault D. Because the fault doesn't cut layer D, we know that layer D had to come after the fault. So this is going to be the end of the